Warning, you are about to enter the BGP suite. No thongs, no boy shorts, no thigh highs, no commandos are permissible. BGP, big girl panties only. So pull up to woman up. And no, please don't leave with your panties in a bunch.
Welcome to BGP, and we are back with our special guest, Mr. Ronan Martin from the Book of Ronan, and Mr. DS1 Ross from Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, give us a thumbs up, leave some comments. Today, we're going to ask the question to these gentlemen, what is Black Male Agency? I'm going to start with you, DS1 Ross.
Black male agency is brotherhood.
Okay.
Brotherhood is something, and when I say brotherhood, I don't mean, what a lot of guys deal with today. I'm not to throw any shade at any guys. If that's what you do, that's what you do. But there's a very light brotherhood type of energy that has been basically consuming black men, because a lot of times we take on situations and people in our life that are not for us, and it's because of how we were trained. Mm-hmm. So as men, and this is something I always say, is we are our own agency. Black men are their own agency. We have to look out for each other. And that's on all aspects of life. We have to look out for each other, not cover up each other's BS, but be there for one another. Perfect example. When me and my brother right here first met, within a few hours of being around this brother, he said, "Hey man, if I eat, you eat." Mm-hmm. That's brotherhood. Mm-hmm. This is what black men are missing. Mm-hmm. This is what Nipsey Hussle was promoting. Mm-hmm. Men being together. You know what I'm saying? Loving each other first. Not getting to the money first. Because getting to the money first, you may think that's your brother, but he really lining you up.
Right.
So we have to establish brotherhood. Love, that's agency. Agency is us being able to help out men in any way, shape, or form. I had a brother one day, he typed in the chat room that he wanted to take himself out. And shout out to that brother, because he told me, because I told him, yo, email me, we'll chop it up, whatever. And he didn't believe me. He told me on the phone that he didn't believe me. Mm. And he told me that if I didn't make good on my word, he was going to blow his brains out. Because he was already sitting in the car with the gun. And then he said, I saw you went live. And I put the gun next to me. And then I typed what I typed in your chat room. When you told me you were going to call me, I already made up in my mind that if I didn't hear from you, I was going to kill myself. So he said, if you've never said you saved someone's life, you could say that now. So when we talking about agency, we talking about internally, externally. Mm-hmm. We have brotherhood is family. That's an internal thing. A lot of black men, we come from fucked up families. Mm-hmm. So those men need to come together and be each other's family. Be the brother. I'm the only child. Mm-hmm. So I go through a lot because it's just me to deal with it. I don't have nobody to talk to.
Bounce off of.
Right. I don't have nobody to say, yo, bro, I got you. But him.
Nice.
So and it's emotional, because what we saw was black men homeless, black men dying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, motherfuckers just walk by and go about their day.
Yeah.
And that shit is hurtful. Because it's like, what if that was me?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not hard for that to be you.
Right.
And this is what I tell brothers, man. We gotta love each other first. If I know you love me, bro, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna steal from you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do certain shit to harm you, because why would I do that? Why would I do that? But agency is a real thing to me, man, because that's the only thing that's gonna save black men. Black women getting it together ain't gonna save black men.
Mm-hmm.
That's not gonna save black men. Black men gotta save black men, and the first thing we gotta do, man, is we gotta love each other for free.
Yeah.
Love is free. It don't have a fucking cost. It don't have a dollar amount. It's free, dog. If you're not gonna be real with me for free, then you're not real.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and brothers, man, we really gotta realize, man, that if we don't do it, it's over. Because as you can see, it's black men homeless, it's black men being killed, it's black men dying from disease, and then on top of that, we still killing each other. On top of that. And then you got a lot of guys today killing themselves. You know, one of my best friends, he took his life on New Year's Eve 2 years ago. Nobody never knew what was wrong. He went out New Year's, went and partied, had a good time, told everybody Happy New Year, went home, went in his closet and blew his brains out in front of his little brothers. Now, imagine what his little brothers are going through. Because ain't no men there to say, yo, I got you.
Right.
Your brother was my man.
Right.
Like, that shit is so puzzling to me, because it's like, this is our only shot. There's nothing else to do. I don't want to hear about no economic plan. Okay? I don't want to hear about no economic plan. Y'all still like to be tricks. Don't tell me about no economic plan. Because all you want to do is go pay for some girls. Mm-hmm. I don't want to hear that shit. If you're not talking about loving your brother as you love yourself, we ain't talking about agency.
Ronan, did you want to add to that?
I say black male agency is about, I'm speaking on the military terms, about establishing your fire team. And in that fire team, you start worrying about each other's well-being. When 3 of the men are down, you have one watching for the benefit of the people. Then you build that to a company. Then you do back to the division. It's about the ability to promote growth. Having that standard, that belief in each other and yourselves, that I am my brother's keeper. And it's the currency of conviction. It's the currency of teaching brothers who were weak at one point to take pride in turn their strengths into weakness. I mean, weaknesses into strengths. Being the mentors that they were deprived of, and moving according to where they take that first step forward or get up in the morning, they get up with a purpose. And that agency is like seeing the light in their eyes when they find that renewed purpose and start moving accordingly to that. Not just with you, but beyond you. That's what I feel agency is.
So why would you say that agency is so important?
One of the biggest things right now is mental health. Agency, if they gonna tell you, and I'm not saying you, but if anybody would tell a black man go sit on somebody's couch, he's seeking agency.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we had something like that homegrown, then, because a lot of times when you go sit on people's couches, they misdiagnose black men. And next thing you know, he taking all these psychotropic drugs, and it done messed his life up even more. You know, so black men need to be their first line of defense. I need to know that if something goes wrong, I could call my brothers first. They need to know first. Black men need to be their own first line of defense. We need to be our own first responders. We need to be our own financial gurus and all of this type of stuff, because at the end of the day, everybody's looking to do a black man dirty. Whether it's money, whether it's manipulating you, out your money, whatever. Black men have to understand that we're our own agency. The welfare not gonna help. Child support ain't gonna help. None of these, because these are other agencies who are against black men because they profit off being against black men. So with us knowing that, why aren't we each other's agency? And it goes back to a lot of guys just, you know, they don't want to do the work. They want shit to just be the way they think it's supposed to be, when that's not life. What it's supposed to be is I'm supposed to be able to at least trust the fact that when I'm around another black man, he not looking at me like food. And that's the problem. We look at each other as food, as black men. What can I get from him? How can he feed me? In what way? You know, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional. You know, some guys just like doges and they like to feel important and shit like that. So we really got to understand the necessity of brotherhood and how much that plays into the success of black men. Because if you go into the history, look at the deacons of defense. That's brotherhood. Those men all had families. And they mounted up as a group of men to protect the church, to protect the women, the elderly, and the children of the church. But that takes a unit, not a mercenary. It takes a unit. It takes an agency, a group of men who know what they're doing, and not only know what they're doing, but love themselves and love each other. Because I'm not going to protect you if I don't love you. Right. I'm not going to put my freedom and my life and everything that I work for on the line if I know you're not going to do the same. And that's what a lot of men are missing today. We're missing that.
Would you say that a man admitting that he needs agency would be him thinking that he's showing a sign of weakness?
No. That's the first step.
I'm saying in general, do most men, because some men, because I listen to both of you, and you get some pushback too. You know, like we get pushback for trying to hold women accountable and responsible for their actions. The both of you get pushback sometimes in your chats when you're trying to hold or have men hold themselves accountable for their actions and responsible for their actions. So that's why I'm saying, do some men believe that, oh, you can't tell me what to do, or they don't need any agency from the outside, if that makes it clearer?
No, it makes sense. And one of the biggest signs of weakness is denying yourself agency for the sake of pride, or trying to adhere to what peer pressure is trying to direct you to. And when it comes to you admitting, I need help, that's the first step to recovery. You see the problem. You need assistance for the problem. And you vet people out to see if they can get you the results you're looking for, or lead you to somebody else. And that's why agency is so important, because there's too many that once they've abandoned hope, all they know is the most nefarious means to achieve peace. And most of them are permanent. Or they lose the value in themselves and their time. But when you have someone who tells you, you are your best investment, you're on your way, you can do these things, some things that sometimes their families deny them. They can go on, they can be a helper to somebody else. that's what we're supposed to do as far as legacy, not just with children. Learn how to teach that person to love themselves and their gifts and pass the baton. Teach them how to get out the abyss.
So I noticed, like, within the past few years since the pandemic, our numbers when it comes to the suicide rate is pretty high. And we have actually more men taking themselves out than women. With the agency, how do you feel that it would be beneficial for Black men?
It will be beneficial for them on all levels, internally and externally. Agency with each other helps a man spiritually. It helps a man health-wise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a lot of guys, they want to get in shape. They don't have no workout partners. They don't have the motivation.
Right.
So, same thing with family. You know, your appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Have an agency, a guy, you know, you might have a job interview and your brother like, yo, I got some old suits in here. You know, that's agency.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get into dwelling, personal, how you live, where you
Mm-hmm.
live, and things like that. With agency, your brother can show you how to maximize your time
Mm-hmm.
in that environment, because the environment may be toxic. So he teaches you how to manage and maximize your time so you can limit the stress. And this is important because a lot of men don't know how to do this stuff.
Right. Right.
We have not been taught
Right.
how to do it.
Yeah.
So we need each other for that purpose. If I can go sit on somebody's couch, why I can't go sit on my brother's couch first?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why I'm going to go tell, you know, this ditzy person about my life,
Mm-hmm.
and all they're going to do is compare my life to theirs. Because some people don't know how to pour into people.
Right.
Your brother should know how, because he's your brother.
Mm-hmm.
He know what you're dealing with. He know what you're suffering from. He know your heart. He know where you want to be. He knows this. And the other men who call themselves your brothers, they know it too, just like you know it about them.
Mm-hmm.
So we help each other work through those processes to become the best versions of ourselves. Without agency, we'll never be the best versions of ourselves, because everything is against us in the environment. In society, everything is against us. Everything, technology, everything pretty much sucks the life out of men.
Mm-hmm.
So there needs to be a congregation of men who let men know this, and let men know, listen, you all right.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna go through this shit, but we got you. We got you.
So who taught you about agency?
My father.
Okay.
My father, as I got older, my father would like, because initially my uncle died.
Mm-hmm.
When he was young. He died like, he was like 17. And that crushed my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing he warned me about that situation is vet the people you're around.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle, he had a best friend, and he just looked past the red signs.
Right.
You know, the red flags or whatever. You know, his friend was a thief.
Mm.
So he stole these dudes' moped.
Mm-hmm.
His dumb ass parks the moped in front of the house. So the guys driving around the neighborhood trying to find who got their moped, they pull up in front of the house, and the moped parked right outside.
Right.
Mind you, my uncle is in there, his friend is in there, and dude grandmother is in there, who's a paraplegic.
Mm.
Do you know them dudes set the whole house on fire? My uncle died in the house. My uncle died, and the dude grandmother died in the house. So my dad always told me, be careful who you're around, because you never know.
Right.
You never know, you know. So that's who told me about agency. My father. And my father, as I got older, we would talk to each other like brothers, because he always wanted his brother back. And he told me one time that he felt like he got his brother back through me.
Mm-hmm.
So, because my uncle was a Capricorn too.
Oh, God.
So, you know.
So would you say that the agency that you have or men have with their fathers are different or is different than the agency that you have with your peers that are your same age? And how does the agency that you have with your peers be more effective than the agency that you have with your father, or is there a difference?
I don't think there's a difference. It's just that the way the approach is different
Because of the age
and the titles,
the changings of times and
the titles.
and the
Like
titles,
these
okay.
are my friends. That's my dad. So
Right.
the relation to agency will be a little different. But my dad is the one who got me prepared to be there for another brother. So that's why I said my dad taught me age. He showed me it. He showed me it.
So you had an example.
Yes.
You had a blueprint.
And me and him always, we were like bros. You know, and it's like, that's what a lot of guys are missing.
Right.
They're missing that camaraderie.
Right.
They're missing that love, that unyielding love that a brother's supposed to have for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's gonna get in between us. Whatever issue it is, we'll work it out. We'll talk. We'll work it out.
Right.
You know.
But
And
I'm always gonna be here.
I'll always be here. And sometimes brothers fall out because the lack of communication. You know, some brothers, you know, they go through stuff. So it's like, oh, I don't want to talk to him right now. He's mad. And it's like, nah, you need to talk to him because he need to hear that from you.
Right.
You know, so.
You have a mantra, and the mantra is heal before you build. Why do you continue to use that mantra on every broadcast that you speak on?
Because I'm seeking healing myself. And I know that that's what black men really need, because you see it with the mental health rates.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that it's a constant uphill battle for myself. And I always want to let brothers know that just because you may see me on your screen, I'm still living a real life like you. And don't ever think that I'm going to treat you or look at you as not like a brother who's going through the same shit. You know, because whether we believe it or not, we all dealing with the same issues as black men.
Yeah.
It may be, you know, to a different degree than certain guys, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing.
Can you give us some examples of the things that our black men need to heal from?
PTSD, clinical depression, health issues, physical abuse, sexual abuse.
Yes.
Someone to talk to quiet the voices that keep them from destroying a happy home. Things of that nature that most people will capitalize on.
Yeah.
And just basically being a black man in America.
Well, yeah, that comes with its fair share of benefits, so to speak, and troubles. But none of us don't have those navigators to get us on the right path. We get into the wrong things out of desperation. And a man without a purpose is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Not just to everybody, but to himself.
Self first.
So it's about self-preservation by every means. Being that voice of reason, even if you are pissed off and you can't make clarity of things, someone to talk you through them things.
Are there a lot of outside facilities that offer agency for black men?
Not many.
Because I hear you saying that to lay on somebody's couch, but that person may be of another race and they don't struggle in the same way that you struggle. So like you said, then they just offer you the medication to mask the situation. Do we actually need more black men to really be the vehicle for agency?
Yes.
We have to, and black men have to start going into certain professions that they probably felt uncomfortable in.
Yeah.
Mental health is one of them.
Yes.
Stress management.
Yes.
You know,
Teachers.
all of those things, because who know us better than us? It's black men. Like, why would you send Dr. Whoever in there to talk to a young drill rapper?
Right.
You know, when this guy right here been living a drill life since he was young and went to jail and messed up his life, and who's better than him to tell him? You know, so a lot of guys are we're gonna have to stop playing. You know, this is why I say brotherhood don't got nothing to do with money, business and all that shit. Because that's where dudes get funny, and that's when a lot of times you see dudes are fake when money is involved. That is the test of a man and your relationship with him. When money's involved, how he responds. And I'm not saying for him to be free, like, here, bro.
Right.
But it's your intentions. Like, now you got this money. Are you trying to use me? Are you trying to make me your protege? See, because none of that's agency. That's manipulation. And this is why a lot of guys don't speak about agency, because they don't know how it works. Because they think agency is, you know, being part of some group. Like I said, I ain't trying to offend nobody.
Right.
And get you to sign up to do all of these things. To prove what? To prove what? To prove that I'm a man to you? If I got to do all that, homie, I'm good. That's why I say that's not agency. Agency starts with love, trust, respect, and honor amongst men. You don't have those things, there's no agency.
And the double on that's like we have a saying, but it's starting to get popular. It's like, if your actions, words, and intent don't work in concert, it's all bullshit.
Exactly.
And plus, black male dysfunction is big business.
Facts.
Look at the prisons. Look at what's on television, movies, how society runs. If black men were able to get their functions on point, we would no longer have ethnic outposts. We would have actual thriving communities. Because whether you like it or not, people like to rewrite history and say we weren't anything. And really, this place wouldn't be what it is without our contributions. Not to exclude with women, but when it comes to black men, you think of the Harlem Hellfighters. Yep. You think about all the men who made all these technological advances that we take for granted. Yep. At some point, they had to have some sense of agency to be what they are.
All right.
If you look at all the successful black men, they all had agency. They all did. Just look at the history. That's why I tell guys, if you don't know your history, then I see why you think the way you think. Unity has always propelled black men. Always. Why do you think when you're able to command other black men, i.e. Malcolm X, i.e. Marcus Garvey, i.e. Clarence the 13X, Nipsey Hussle, when you're able to command other men and galvanize them in numbers, you become a threat. And what you become a threat to is you become a threat to their agency.
Right.
Because you've created your own.
Right.
So, got to get our shit together, fellas.
Facts.
Back in the day, there used to be something called Big Brothers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that still exists, but would you say that if that is still around, or when it was around, was that agency and was it successful?
It still exists.
still exists.
I would say it was to a certain extent until a lot of black men decided to get out of those professions. You know, a lot what we say is not there is because we're not willing to provide it.
No.
As men, and we're supposed to be providers, right?
Right.
Then you're supposed to provide what it is you and your brothers need for each other outside of whoever. And of course we weren't taught to do that. So the guys who promote that, such as me and my bro, this is why we get the pushback we get. Because with agency comes work. Because if my brother is counting on me to do what I said I was going to do, then if I don't do it, it's like, well, what happened? Like, let's talk about what happened, why you didn't do it. And you got some guys who just choose not to. And it's because a lot of guys are afraid of agency. Because if black men was to understand the importance of agency, it will change the trajectory of all black men.
Facts.
It will change it. And the guys who are comfortable getting millions of dollars and making money off the dysfunction, they don't want it to change.
Want to. Yep, absolutely.
Because it messes up the bottom line.
Yep.
Which is why they take us out. Rest in peace, Nipsey. Rest in peace, Malcolm X. Which is why they do that. Those guys promoted what? Agency. Brotherhood. Malcolm X will walk through the streets with 300 men. That scares the system. That's a Pookie with 300 men behind him. People forgot Malcolm used to be a pimp.
Right.
He's a real Ray Ray.
Right.
He was a robber and a pimp. Can galvanize thousands of men. That's scary.
So then let me ask you, based on that example you just gave, clearly, even if we look back at history when it comes to our community, you always have somebody that can be easily persuaded to betray our community, brotherhood or sisterhood. So how do you kind of stop that, prevent that from happening?
Combat it.
Yeah, like how do you do that in the agency? Or do you just make peace with the fact that knowing that no matter how great we can get this to be, there's always going to be,
Well, I don't want to give my honest opinion on that because,
Yeah.
But I'm going to just say, in an agency, you always have watchmen. You always have guys that you don't even know that's watching. And they're not watching to be nosy. They're not going to watch when you take a piss. No, they're watching for the slime to come out you one day. There's guys that has to be designated for that position. Because guess what? There was nobody designated with that position for Malcolm.
Right.
An executioner.
Right.
A consigliere. See, the mob has that. That's a watchman. That's a guy who watch all the workers, all the underbosses. Because at any time a dude could want to do dirt.
Right.
That's why you got to have certain security measures in place. But how would I trust you would die for me? You don't love me. You wouldn't even give me half your sandwich. But you think I'm supposed to believe you're going to put a bullet in somebody if they run up in here with shotguns?
Yeah.
So that would be equivalent to the casino, where they have the people work and they have somebody watch the people that work and they watch the people that watch the people that work.
Yep.
It's a whole big organization.
It's a system.
Yeah.
Which is why the Italians call themselves what? Brotherhoods, factions. Because that's what they do. You have a guy who's watching the cameras. Then you have a pit boss.
Right.
Then you have a guy who's watching the pit boss.
Right.
And then you're watching the guy that's watching the pit boss.
Right.
But black men, when we watch these type of movies, we don't see agency.
Right.
We see money.
Right.
We see money and business
And
and
women.
fame and stardom and we
Bosses.
don't see the intangible that they have created. You can never infiltrate us unless you're one of us, which is how they've been getting the mob. Black men are quick to turn.
Yes.
Shitty cuz.
Yes.
Shitty cuz, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's not going to happen in the mob. And if it does, he will be packed up expeditiously.
But he wouldn't even make it to, he'd be done. In pieces.
Expeditiously.
Yeah. Facts.
But then you have men who are not willing to carry those duties out. So brotherhood is extremely important because every other man operates with brotherhood. The Asian, what you say, the other kind of meat that you like, those guys, you know,
We going there?
they
That's where we
operate.
going?
They operate off agency.
Right.
That's why y'all find them attractive.
This is true. That's true.
You know, because he's the foreman on the site. He got all his homeboys working up under him. Oh, look at my man, and look at Manuel, and you know. But and black men, when I'm speaking on agency, I'm not saying start doing that for female validation.
No.
It's the last thing you do.
We have to do this for the safety and the savior of the black race.
Right.
Because as black men, we can't say, oh, black men are the cream of the crop. But then we just used to dropping the ball.
Right.
That's the other thing about agency. You start learning appreciation for codes of conduct. And you start talking about accountability. So you're groomed into said position. Some people have respective skills superior than other people. You put them in the right positions. That way they learn the position that they're in. Be it they call friend, brother, father, things of that nature. That way they can teach that to others. But once you're in the collective, talking about in the group, you understand the importance of maintaining security in that group. Anyone who's out for self, they will weed themselves out.
So it's 2022 and the propaganda machine is pushing for black men to be weak and be feminine. And so my question would be, if we do not get black male agency under control, where do you see the future of black men and black men male? God dingity dog. Black manhood. Where do you see the future of black men?
Well, I've mentioned this before on a broadcast that I don't want to say this, but a lot of guys are becoming transmasculine.
Yeah.
And I don't mean how they dress. I mean in their energy.
How they move.
In their energy. It's very tranny like. And it's because they don't understand, or they don't understand what manhood and masculinity is. They think manhood and masculinity, and me and my brother, we're going to do a podcast on this, is provide and protect. Provide and protect, provide and protect, provide and protect. What about problem solving? And one of the most important things that black men need to figure out, something that they're not talking about, is what about procreation? A lot of black men don't want children no more. Because the society and social media is pushing us toward that trans-masculine way of living your life. You don't want no problems, stop dealing with women. You don't want no problems, stop being a leader. You're tired of stressing, go be a bottom. Go be a bottom. It will pay you. There's incentives in not being black and masculine as a man. That you get paid for that. You don't get paid for being a man. This is why we promote agency, because we pay each other. My brother's paying me with this. And it's not like he's looking for something in return. What he's looking for is progress from me. That's brotherhood.
That's how it's supposed to be.
That's not no, I bought you a cheeseburger, now buy me one.
Right. Right.
If I eat, you eat, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. So brothers got to stop thinking that masculinity has a price tag. It's not. It's priceless. And it's something that actually comes from God. And if you don't nurture your masculinity, it's easy for you to
lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the motivation to keep going? Because I know there's got to be some times when you're frustrated and you're just like, ugh. So what motivates, and that's for both of y'all, to keep going?
My brother. My bros. And men that hit me up and tell me how the content is affecting them. That's what keep me going. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't get up there and talk about how much guys hit me up, but guys hit me up and tell me. You know, so that's what I would say, that's what keep me going, knowing that I'm actually affecting brothers.
Mm-hmm. And I think that you found out about that because, you know, they're used to you going live every day. And you didn't for a few days, and everybody's like, where are you at? What you doing? Are you okay? Right. And how did that make you feel?
It gave me anxiety a little bit.
Oh, wow.
But it just showed me that a lot of guys, and I got to piggyback off my brother again, is living a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. What they showing you in front of that camera, it's not them.
Right.
And me and him know because we get the men who hit us up and tell us.
Right. You
know, so a lot of guys just need to stop lying to themselves because it's not going to get you anywhere. Mm-hmm. It's not going to help you in any form of fashion. And if you're lying to yourself, you can't be of help to your brother.
Right.
It's just that simple.
I'd say what keeps me going is just like giving your brother an opportunity to see a better version of himself. Not for no sake of ego or whatnot, but they have a testimony of their own. Like, no one gave me a shot, but you saw something in me. And you didn't tell me to pay you or anything like that. It's just like when I needed something and my pride kept me from asking, you saw what it was. And I took a chance. You did what you did do. And it's like, you'd always say, like, hey, when I need a chance to pay you back, I said, the best way you can pay me back is be a better version of yourself. Mm-hmm. Get to where you're going, handle your business, and being a testimony for somebody else. Resources come and go, but this opportunity to be better is finite if you don't take advantage.
Agree.
Is Black Male Agency also taking time out for yourself?
Yes.
To recharge, to restart, to rejuvenate, to get your own mental health in order?
Yes.
Well, it definitely goes with this time here. Like, both of us, really a lot of us involved, were at the breaking point. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you can tell when you promote agency, you start seeing, like, look, this person needs that creative recharge because they're about to break. And from day one to even now, just seeing how you're in a space where you're able to turn the TV off and not even worry about what's going on there, not going on live. You get phone calls from people because they're used to bringing problems. Like, you sound different. Or you look at that person like, this is the most I smiled in years. Because you have that genuine connection with conversation, energy. You're able to do stuff and things. That success runs in a sequence to where, like, this is surreal, but this is what I needed. So when you go back and battle the world, not only you recharge, but you learned a lot about yourself. And like, you know what, I'm going to do this different. Or what I see, I got a preview of where I need to be and what I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Do you have any final thoughts for our audience before we close?
I'm going to say, Black men, stop playing. Whether you want to believe it or not, the death of Kevin Samuels should have taught black men something. and all of the other brothers who ended up in the hospital after. It's time for us to get ourselves together, man, especially mentally. Mentally and emotionally is the most important thing, because that is where your purpose lies. A lot of men are purposeless, which that leads to suicide. And then when you don't have nobody there who knows you, who could say, yo, you're not that, you're this. You're not that, you're this. Remember when you did this? Remember when you was doing this? That's who you are. That's what we need. Without that, you're going to continue what we've been riding around LA seeing, which is very, very traumatic to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's like to see a 19-year-old kid look like he's 60.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Or to see a black man wearing woman's clothes because he's homeless. And this is how he make money. He walk around and act like a woman. That's my final thought.
Ronnie?
I'll say to black men, when you pursue agency, you become the author of your life. And of course you had a few bad chapters, and you have the opportunity to make that rewrite, make those needed edits, edit certain characters out your life that have been keeping you at the basement. And it won't never be easy, but anything worth having is never easy. But once you achieve it, it's better than any high you ever had off of some substance that was looking to destroy you. So when it comes to agency, it's about investing your time into yourself, the greater version of yourself, going to the gym, eating better, being around better people, being around conversations that promote growth, ideas, things that help you cement your legacy so where you'll be remembered long when you've expired here. So agency is a matter of life and death for yourself.
Ms. Nisha, do you have a final thought?
I would say this is a really good topic, and we need to have more discussions like that for both sides, for both men and women, because although the agency is geared towards just men only and men helping men, I've been in that position where I've had to talk both men and women off ledges. I've been in that position where I've had to literally just be a listening ear for hours so that they don't do something that they will never be able to come back from. I've been that listening ear and that motivation for them to just keep going and just keep calling every day to give me an update, just to keep them going, to keep them focused until they get to the point where they're like, I'm in a better headspace, right? Black men are needed. More black men in positions where related to mental health, related to teachers, related to the health field is needed, period. We have a lot of situations where a lot of men don't value themselves, and they're being taught every day not to value themselves. So it's easy for them to take somebody out and not really care because they don't even value their own lives. And we need more men in this world to kind of show them a different way and to teach them to move and think logically instead of emotionally. And that goes for women too, but that's not really about this particular broadcast. So I appreciate what you guys are doing. If there's anything that I can do to kind of get behind as far as support or donate to, I offer my services, and that is my final thought.
Nisha and I met Mr. Ronan Martin on another Blog Talk radio show.
Long time ago.
Over 10 years ago. And
yeah.
Ronan and I have remained very close friends throughout that 10 years. And we've only this is only our second time seeing one another. And, we talk on the phone 3 or 4 times a month, and we laugh until we cry, and we laugh until he falls asleep on me. And he's always been a motivation for me. he is my go-to man when I want to act a goddamn fool. And I really appreciate him. He was also very instrumental on making us create BGP. He said, you guys can do it. You know, it's time. It's past time. You know, and he just kept pushing and offering all kind of support. And then he said, there's somebody else out there that is trying to do the same thing that you guys are trying to do for the women, which is have them hold themselves accountable and responsible for their actions. And he sent me a link to this young man, and I actually thought he was an older man. He has so much wisdom, so much knowledge. He's so passionate. He's very humble, and I was very excited for you guys to come up here because we want to give you your flowers right now. You know, and thank you for coming to California. We wanted to show you some California love.
We want to come back.
Thank y'all.
Some West Coast love, and you are appreciated. You are loved. We love black men. We love Pookie and Ray Ray, progressive Pookies and Ray Ray.
High five.
Gang, gang.
And yeah, thank you for being here. This concludes our interview with these great men. Like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment. Shout out your channels.
Yeah.
Where can we find you? Ron?
Well, you can find me on YouTube on the Book of Ronan, and you can find me on Instagram at the Ronan_redacted. Facebook, I don't do too much; it's too gossipy over there. So.
Well, y'all can follow me on Instagram, DS_1_Ross. On YouTube, y'all can follow me at Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Also, follow our podcast channel, Foundational Manhood Podcast, FMP. Foundational Manhood Podcast. Go ahead and look that up and go ahead and subscribe.
BGP, I love these two men, and we out.
Bye.